whether your construction site is on a mountaintop or on a level area such as this, on a steep slope, far or near the ocean, what happens here directly impacts as to what happens here.
Aloha. You know, we all live in one of the most incredibly beautiful places in all the world. You know, smack dab in the middle of the Pacific. We have a fragile environment. We worship this environment. We love it. And it's what defines us as a people. And so we have these new water quality rules that are being put in place to make sure this environment remains protected and healthy, not just for our generation, but for future generations. And so it's incumbent on all of us, and particularly you folks here at the city who are going to be implementing these new water quality rules that are designed to protect this environment, that they're rolled out efficiently and that the people who have to use them understand them. This training you're going through is to help that process become even better, so that whether you're a contractor, developer, or someone else, as you build your project, you do it in a way that does not harm the environment, does not harm your neighbors, and make sure that this place is a place not just for us, but for generations to come.
This training is to help you understand best management practices, or BMPs, for managing stormwater on projects to prevent sediments and pollutants from entering our waters during construction and even after construction is done. There are two one-hour training modules. One training is for Erosion and Sediment Control Plan Coordinators. This is for contractors and people responsible for implementing the Erosion and Sediment Control Plan during the construction of a project. And the other is for Certified Water Pollution Plan Preparers, intended for licensed professionals such as engineers, architects, landscape architects, and land surveyors. Rainwater flowing over unprotected construction sites can wreak havoc with our ecosystems, our environment. In urban or developed areas, excess rainfall, or the portion of rainfall that is not absorbed into the ground, becomes surface runoff that carries soil and pollutants to our waters. This might be plain old dirt, but mixed with rainwater it becomes a major pollutant called sediment. So what's the big deal? Sediment is just mud, right? Wrong. Sediment like this from construction sites kills aquatic and marine life and could potentially cause flooding or damage to neighboring properties. In addition, standing stormwater runoff can become a breeding ground for disease carriers.
Stormwater requirements are not the same for all projects. Larger projects have more stringent requirements, such as a large new residential subdivision on raw land. The requirements are much simpler for a house renovation work in an existing mature neighborhood. But the goal is the same. We want to stop runoff from these properties as they're being renovated or constructed.
Construction projects, large and small, are required to have an erosion and sediment control plan. There are two roles or responsibilities associated with that erosion and sediment control plan: the Erosion and Sediment Control Coordinator and the Certified Water Pollution Plan Preparer. Construction sites and construction work are generally associated with the generation of a lot of sediment, debris, and other pollutants that are very dangerous and can compromise the health of waters, streams, and rivers close to the job site.
In the Erosion and Sediment Control Plan Coordinator training, 3 categories of best management practices are covered. The first is minimizing erosion. The second is controlling sediment and polluted runoff from leaving the construction site. The third is good housekeeping and maintenance.
Best management practices start with keeping a clean roadway and clean sidewalks. And as you can see, When we put the final grading down, we put a biosock here to keep the sediment from running from here and into the drain. But if it were to get past the biosock, then you would come over here and you see that we've added another protection layer to keep the sediment from going from the house to the drain to the ocean.
Here we're at a private residential construction site on a large slope, and we can see some exposed soil that hasn't been stabilized yet. Additionally, there's concrete slurry on the ground. You can't leave it on the ground like this. These are signs of concrete spill.
Any size event is a big event when it comes to sediment, so planning for these weather events is important because it's easier to take the precautions in the beginning instead of trying to clean up for them later. What you'll notice is you'll pay 3 or 4 times more to clean it up after the fact than if you prepare in the beginning.
We know and understand there will be changes to your project throughout the duration of construction. Please contact your city inspector if changes do occur and your BMP plans may change. If you see track out in the road, it might be a good idea to add rock. This could be something that wasn't brought to your attention at the beginning of construction, but is now a concern after the rain and noticing a track out issue. If you have a soil stockpile on site, it's important to keep the stockpile covered when it's not active. If it is active, make sure to sweep any contents that fall into the road, and if you have track out during rain, make sure to sweep that up as well. And never use water to clean the street, washing sediment into the drains.
Of course we want to protect the environment, but a clean site is a safe site, and we want to be good neighbors.
Compliance starts with the paperwork that's involved with getting a building or grading permit, but compliance goes through the construction period as well as after the construction period, the post-construction period.
The Certified Water Pollution Plan Preparers training addresses post-construction BMPs because even after projects are completed, stormwater runoff can bring pollution to our waters. The water quality rules require construction-related designs and post-construction BMPs to be included in the final plans. These vary depending on the size and type of the project. Certified Water Pollution Prevention Plan Preparers training covers 1. Site design strategies to reduce, retain, and/or infiltrate post-project runoff. 2. BMPs that control sources of pollutants. And 3. BMPs that treat the remaining stormwater runoff before discharging it to the storm drain system or to receiving waters. The Certified Water Pollution Plan Preparer must develop an Operations and Maintenance Plan, or O&M plan. The O&M plan provides the owner or property manager with clear guidance on maintaining their post-construction BMPs. This ensures the continuation of effectively reducing the discharge of pollutants in stormwater from leaving the project site.
Post-construction BMPs must be included in your plans. Post-construction BMPs include underground treatment devices and low-impact developments, also referred to as LIDs. The goal of LIDs is to reduce the amount of impervious area on your property so that the runoff volume is reduced and the flow is slowed. Impervious surfaces can be concrete or asphalt, they can be roofs or parking lots, but they all have at least one thing in common. Water runs off of them, not through them. And with that runoff comes a host of problems. Some of the more typical techniques of low-impact development include bioretention, dry swale or bioswale, and vegetative conveyances.
Violations of any of the water quality regulations may result in up to a $25,000 per day fine for any illegal discharge from a job site. And that would include not only the release of silt and sediment, but other pollutants as well.
Remember, the city and their staff and inspectors are here to help you. We want to make sure you're compliant on your job sites, so feel free to ask us any questions that you might have, including installation of BMPs, changes with your project. We encourage your questions and concerns.
The purpose of the rules is to basically save our planet and save ourselves. We're going to start off with understanding that stormwater can do a lot of damage to property, to public infrastructure, to our streams, to other bodies of water, and ultimately to ocean water quality. That's the thing that we ultimately want to do, is save the water quality of all our natural resources.
When it comes to BMPs, building quality homes, communities is what we really want for a better Hawaii. But it may take an investment on your part. It's what we call our kuleana, our responsibility as builders, as developers, as homeowners. It's our responsibility to protect the rivers and, of course, our ocean. So mahalo for your kukua in protecting our beautiful Hawaii.
I want to mahalo all of you for the time you're going to be putting into this, learning these new rules. I know it's somewhat tedious and it's a number of hours, but I think we're all going to be better for it. As the mayor of the city and county of Honolulu, I want to thank you for your commitment and your dedication. Aloha.
Malama i ka wai ola. Help protect our waters for life.